Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred on this date in years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Eozander, and you are you. Today is Tuesday, aka Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. 4 the 4. So 4 score and 4 4 for 4 4. Let's get into the history today, shall we? Starting us off in the year 503 BC, Roman consul Agrippa Menenius Lenatus celebrated a triumph for a military victory over the Sabines. Alright. 1081, Alexius I Comnenus occupied the Byzantine throne. 1268, a 5-year Byzantine-Venetian peace treaty was concluded between Venetian envoys and Emperor Michael the Eighth Palaiologos. Alright. 1423, we have the death of the Venetian Doge Tommaso Mocenigo, under whose rule victories were achieved against the Kingdom of Hungary and against the Ottoman Empire at the Battle of Gallipoli in 1416. 1581, before that though, we have 1558, Tsar Ivan IV gave the patent to colonize the abundant region along the Kama River of North Russia to the fur-trading Stroganov merchant family. Huh. We're going to move on up to 1581. Francis Drake was knighted by Queen Elizabeth I for completing a circumnavigation of the world. Good. Yeah. Aboard his galleon, the Golden Hind, at Deptford, England. Huh. Alright. Moving on up to 1609. Moriscos were expelled from the Kingdom of Valencia. Alright. 1660, Declaration of Breda by King Charles II of Great Britain promised, among other things, a general pardon to all royalists and opponents of the monarchy for crimes committed during the English Civil War and the interregnum. Alright. So let's add that in here. Right there, real quick. And what was the other one here? Tsar Ivan, 1558. So, yeah. Hold on, I'm sorry, just like on the fly editing and such. So let's add this here to this one here. So that way when next year comes around, we can edit the script a little bit more. We're going to move on up to 1655. The miraculous statue entitled The Infant of Prague was solemnly crowned by command of Cardinal Harash. The miraculous statue entitled The Infant of Prague. So let's check that out. They actually put a crown on a statue? Infant Jesus of Prague. Infants or images. Okay. So this statue was crowned. So they put a crown on it. Alright. Well, that's cool. Huh. And it looks like it's just it's not part of the statue officially. Intriguing. 1660, English King Charles II issued the Declaration of Breda, promising a general pardon for crimes committed during the English Civil War and the interregnum and religious toleration for all those who accepted him as king. Alright, good. Let's add that here real quick. We have the Declaration of Indulgence in 1687. English King James II published his Declaration of Indulgence, a step towards establishing freedom of religion in the British Isles. Good. Very good. Let's see here. 1789. First U.S. Congress began regular sessions during George Washington's presidency at Federal Hall, New York City, ending in 1791. Alright. That was in 1789. Oops. Boop, boop, boop. 1789. Before 96. 1796, actually before that, 1794, Battle of Rakławicz, part of the Polish-Lithuanian uprising led by Tadeusz Kościuszko with a tactical Polish victory. Huh. Alright. Add that. 1796. Yep, here we go. Georges Cuvier delivered the first paleontological lecture. So the first time they actually officially educated about paleontology, all the way on this date in 1796. 1814, Napoleon abdicated for the first time and named his son Napoleon II as Emperor of the French, followed by the unconditional abdication 2 days later. It says here, an officer mutiny forced French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte to abdicate for the first time in favor of his son, who was not accepted by the Allies occupying Paris. Well, look at that. So a little bit more history, a little bit more information. Two different sources, same thing, but like different information. That's why we utilize multiple sources here, people. 1818, the United States Congress, affirming the Second Continental Congress, adopted the flag of the United States with 13 red and white stripes and 1 star for each state, which was 20 at the time. In 1828 as well, or moving on up to 1828, Casparus van Wooden patented chocolate milk powder in Amsterdam. Alright. So for those of you who likes chalky milk, there you go. You can thank this guy for patenting it. 1832, Charles Darwin aboard the HMS Beagle reached Rio de Janeiro. Alright. 1841, William Henry Harrison died of pneumonia, becoming the first president of the United States to die in office and setting the record for the briefest administration. Vice President John Tyler succeeds Harrison as president. Alright, a little bit more information here from this other source, so let me put that as a footnote right there. Save. Moving on up to 1850, the city of Los Angeles was incorporated. Look at that. So, 150, 178 years now? Wow. That's pretty good. 1860, the declaration of on the introduction of the Finnish marka as an official currency was read in different parts of the Grand Duchy of Finland. Alright. 1865, during the U.S. Civil War, the American Civil War, a day after Union forces captured Richmond, Virginia, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln visited the Confederate capital. Yeah, at that same time in 1865, Robert E. Lee's Confederate Army arrived at Amella Courthouse, Amella County, Virginia. Alright, let's add that in here real quick. 1870, before that though, we have 1866, Russian Tsar Alexander II of Russia narrowly escaped an assassination attempt by Dmitry Karamazov in the city of St. Petersburg. Wow. So that was many years before the overthrow. So that was at 1866. Add that here real quick. 1870, Golden Gate Park formed by City Order 800. Golden Gate Park. I believe that's around the Golden Gate Bridge. So let's check this out here. Huh. Golden Gate Park. All right. Oh, I know where that is. That's not the Golden Gate. That is in San Francisco. That's that big Central Park-looking area in San Francisco. I have not been there, but I have seen that on maps. 1887, Argonia, Kansas elected Susanna Medora Salter as the first female mayor in the United States. Wow. Nice. All the way back in 1887. You know, you go, girl. 1896, announcement of gold discovery in Yukon. All right. The Yukon Territory. We also have, see here, 1902, Cecil Rhodes Scholarship Fund formed with $10 million. Alright. You know what, let's, we gotta add that in here, 1902, real quick. Okay. 1905, in India, an earthquake hit the Kangra Valley, killing 20,000 people and destroying most buildings in Kangra, Maleolganj, and Dharamshala. Alright. 1911, Hugh Chalmers, an automaker, suggested the idea of baseball most valuable player. Good idea. The Chinese Republic was proclaimed in Tibet 1 year later in 1912 on this date. Then in 1913, during the First Balkan War, Greek aviator Emmanuel Agriopoulos became the first pilot to die in the Hellenic Air Force when his plane crashed. That's unfortunate. Everybody has to be number one at some point, even if that position is rather a number two. So, nothing shittier than dying. 1915, Germany protested vigorously to the U.S., claiming it must insist that Britain lift its blockade and assert U.S. neutrality. And then 2 years later, in 1917, the U.S. Senate agreed 82-6 to participate in World War I. Alright, that's what we thought about you, Germany, and you're trying to tell us what to do. 1922, WAAB, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, became the first U.S. radio station with W calls. So before that, it used to all be K, so K is for the East, and then W is for the West. So, you know, you have, actually, no, K is for the West, I think, KTLA? I don't know. So W has to be on the East. Yeah, east of the Mississippi, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I don't know. There's something there. Moving on up to 1925, the Schutzstaffel SS was founded under Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party in Germany. The SS, the Secret Service. Yep, it's their birthday today, unfortunately, and it coincides with the death day of a hero to the world, which is really unfortunate. But hey, you know, every day's full of history, both good and bad, and sometimes it has both extremes. So, speaking of extreme, in 1930, the Communist Party of Panama was founded. And 2 years later, in 1932, Charles G. King University of Pittsburgh isolated vitamin C using adrenal samples provided by Hungarian Albert Szent-Györgyi. Alright. We also have in 1933, U.S. Navy airship USS Akron was wrecked off the New Jersey coast due to severe weather. Hi. Let's see here. Higher and higher. Musical? No? 1944, French General Charles de Gaulle formed his new regime in exile with communists. Oh, wow. I did not know that. So, Charles de Gaulle worked with the communists. I mean, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know, we worked with the communists to fight Germany and all that stuff. But while that was happening in 1944 as well, during the Second World War, the first bombardment of oil refineries in Bucharest by Anglo-American forces killed 3,000 civilians. It says also, from my other source, bombings targeting railroads killed 5,000. So I don't know if those are two separate things or what. But yeah, we have right here, Allied Bucharest bombings targeting railroads killed 5,000. That's from this source. And my other source is the oil refineries and such, but they're both involving Bucharest. Bombings, 44, World War II, so I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more research on that. Or I can offer that as today's challenge for you viewers. Are these two separate incidents in the same area, or are they connected? So, in total, was it 5,000 civilians, or what? Or was it 8,000? But anyway, 1945, World War II, the Holocaust. U.S. forces liberated the Ohrdorf concentration camp in Germany, the first such camp to be liberated by the U.S. Army. All right. We also have 1945, World War II, U.S. Army troops captured Kassel. Okay. And while that was happening, Soviet forces liberated Hungary from German occupation, establishing their own communist satellite state. This was celebrated as Liberation Day until 1989. So it sounds that's when Hungary split off from the Soviet Union, the fall of the wall. Not just the Berlin Wall, but the Iron Curtain. So, 1947, the largest group of sunspots on record. Wow. So let me check this out real quick. Was it like 1,000 sunspots or something? April 8th, 1947, astronomers at April 8th. Astronomers at Wilson Observatory witnessed the largest array of sunspots ever recorded. The group of sunspots in the southern latitudes of the sun was large enough to be observed without a telescope. But that's 4 days from now. So maybe we'll be circling back to that. We're going to move on up to 1949. During the Cold War in Washington, D.C., 12 nations signed the North Atlantic Treaty, creating the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, a.k.a. NATO. 1951, I don't care about that. 1958, we have the first march against nuclear weapons from London to Aldermaston, England, home of the Defense Ministry's Atomic Weapons Establishment, AWE. We also have in 1958, Cheryl Crane, at the age of 14, daughter of actress Lana Turner, was stabbed to death, organized crime figure Johnny Stompanato, her mother's boyfriend, in self-defense. Crime later ruled a justifiable homicide. Wow. Can you imagine being a justifiable homicide? We also have in 1958 as well, the CND peace symbol was displayed in public for the first time in London. And what a lot of people don't realize, the CND peace symbol, we all know that, you know, as this, is satanic. Where did the peace sign come from? Right here. Occasionally maligned as an anti-Christian symbol, an upside-down broken Nero cross, a satanic character, or even a Nazi emblem, the iconic peace sign is apparently not so innocent to everyone. So let me add this into the underbar of the description. Now keep in mind, this source, it is Encyclopedia Britannica, it may be leftist. So, you know how the left hate everything. They're trying to destroy everything. So maybe they're trying to destroy the very concept of peace. But it's something to look into. It's some food for thought. So check it out in the underbar of the description. It will be down there after the show. Let's see here. We're going to move on up to 1959. Mali Federation was founded, consisting of Senegal and French Sudan. It was later dissolved 1 year later in like 1960. But speaking of 1960, Project Ozma began at Green Bank Radio Astronomy Center. And what is Project Ozma? Let's check that out here real quick. So, let's see here. Project Ozma was named after the Queen of Elf Frank Baum's imaginary land of Oz. A place very far away, difficult to reach, and populated by strange and yeah. Okay, so for further reading on Project Ozma, I believe this is it here. Yeah, so I'm gonna add this in the underbar of the description as well. So there you go. Let's move on up here. We also have 1960. Senegal declared independence from France, but also France agreed to grant independence to the Mali Federation, a union of Senegal and French Sudan, which actually 1 year prior, Mali Federation okay, so this was all connected. That's interesting. So 1 year on the date, the Mali Federation was dissolved, and then they became Senegal and independent. That's pretty cool. Moving on up to 1964, the Beatles occupied the top 5 positions on the Billboard Hot 100 top pop chart. All right. 1965, the first model of the new Saab Viggen fighter aircraft plane was unveiled. So, Saab Viggen fighter aircraft. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Oh, that one. Okay, it has like the front wings. That's cool. Okay. That's a beautiful bird. We also have 1967, Amsterdam Marines chased Nozems, or rebellious youth, out of Central Station. So apparently they were having a serious problem with rebellious youth in the Central Station of Amsterdam, and they had to bring in the military. In 1967, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his Beyond Vietnam, A Time to Break Silence speech in New York City's Riverside Church. And unfortunately, 1 year later after that, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated by James Earl Ray at a motel in Memphis, Tennessee. Riots broke out in over 100 cities in the U.S. following the assassination of, Martin Luther King Jr. So, yeah, let's add that. But we also have in 1968 the Apollo program. Apollo 6 was launched atop of Saturn V. It was unmanned. So we're still trying to just get up there. We're going to move on up into 1969. There we go. I don't know why they have this, it's supposed to be the other way around. This is talking about after he got assassinated. This is talking about the assassination itself. So it's not in correct order. Chronologic is the word I'm thinking of. Anyway, we're going to move on up to 1969. Haskell Karp received the first temporary artificial heart implanted by surgeon Denton Cooley at the Texas Heart Institute in Houston. All right. 1971. Marine clay under houses liquefied in Saint Jean Vianney, Quebec, causing the deaths of 31. So it sounds like sinkholes formed. So like marine clay just dissolved, and then the houses just fell into the vacant holes and everything. 1972, the first electric power plant fueled by garbage began operations, and that's an interesting idea, but you gotta mind the weight, the byproduct, the emissions, and all that stuff. The idea of burning garbage to make energy, it makes sense. It just creates bad pollution. So that's everything comes with a problem. But 1972, the first we got that. 1973, World Trade Center, then the world's tallest buildings, were dedicated and opened in New York City, New York, at 110 stories high. 110 stories tall. They were later destroyed on the 9/11, September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks, or whatever. Jet beams don't melt steel fuel. That's all I have to say. 1973, a Lockheed C-141 Starliner, dubbed the Hanoi Taxi, made the last flight of Operation Homecoming. And what is Operation Homecoming, you may ask? It has something to do with Vietnam, I know that. Operation Homecoming was the return of 591 U.S. prisoners of war held by North Vietnam following the Paris Peace Accords that ended U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. Alright, add that link into the underbar of the description below. So, let's move on up here to 1975. Microsoft was founded as a partnership between Bill Gates and Paul Allen in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and sell basic interpreters for the Altair 880, whatever that is. I'm going to add that here as a footnote to edit, 1 year from now. Going to move on up to 1975. 138 people were killed as a USAF plane evacuating Vietnamese orphans crashed on approach during an emergency landing at Tan Son Nhat Air Base in South Vietnam. That sucks. That really sucks. 1975 as well, Steve Miller was arrested for burning his girlfriend's clothes. Okay. I mean, that is destruction of property. So, you know what? I'm going to get rid of, because... No, yeah. 1977, Southern Airways Flight 242 crashed in New Hope, Paulding County, Georgia, killing 72. That's awful. 1979, Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto of Pakistan was executed. Yikes. 1981, the Iran-Iraq War, the Islamic Republic of Iran forced mounts on attack, Iran Air Force mounted an attack on H3 Air Base and destroyed about 50 Iraqi aircraft. Wow. That's a blow right there. 1981, Henry Cisneros became the first Mexican U.S. mayor, specifically in San Antonio. First Mexican U.S. mayor. That's really cool. So the first woman mayor in the U.S. Preceded that by around 100 years. That's pretty incredible. 1983, we got the 6th NASA Space Shuttle mission, Challenger 1, launched. And what was Challenger 1? Oh, Challenger 1 was a space shuttle, right? Yeah. Oh, no, that's a tank. That's a space shuttle. Okay, so that, yeah. We also have in 1984, President Ronald Reagan called for an international ban on chemical weapons. And despite that, we still use them. So, 1984, Winston Smith in Orwell's novel 1984 began his secret diary in defiance of the totalitarian government of Oceania. All right, so let's add that in here real quick. So in that, no longer turning out to be a fictional universe, but in that time, on this date, that's when he started writing. We also have in 1988, Governor Evan Meckham of Arizona was convicted in his impeachment trial and removed from office. All right. Good. In 1988, Eddie Hill became the world's first driver to cover the quarter mile in under 5 seconds. He's moving. Like how fast is it? Quarter mile in under 5 seconds. Hold on. Quarter mile in under 5 seconds. 5 second quarter mile. Alright, but how fast are you going? Okay. Well, how fast? Let's see here. Quarter mile, time of 12 seconds fast. Yeah. Okay, well, it's not telling me how fast is 4 seconds in a quarter mile. Pardon me, 225 miles an hour. Whoa, he's moving. No. We also have what else? 1990. The current flag of Hong Kong was adopted for post-colonial Hong Kong during the 3rd session of the 7th National People's Congress. All right. Oh, 1989. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's last NBA game occurred in Seattle. All right, let's add that in here real quick. Also have, see, 1989, 1990, 1992, okay, 1991, 41 people were taken hostage inside of a Good Guys electronics store in Sacramento, California. 3 of the hostage takers and 3 hostages were killed. That's unfortunate, but collateral damage. So, while that was happening in 1991 as well, Senator John Hines of Pennsylvania and 6 others were killed when a helicopter collided with their plane over an elementary school in Marion, Pennsylvania. Yikes. Senator down. That's not good. 1992, jury deliberations began in Noriega case, in Manuel Noriega, Panamanian general and dictator. Not a nice guy. So let me add that here real quick. We also have in 1990, WrestleMania, okay. that. Okay. Okay. Don't care about substance abuse people. So, 1994, the largest opening day crowd at Yankee Stadium at 56,706 attending. And while that was happening, the 1994 as well, the first game played at Jacobs Field, the Indians defeated the Mariners 4-3 in 11 innings. All right. 1994 as well, Netscape Communications founded as Mosaic Communications. All right. We also have a 1996 Howard Stern radio show premiered in Austin, Texas on KJFK 98.9 FM. And 1996 as well, Comet Hyakutake was imaged by the USA Asteroid Orbiter Near Earth Asteroid Rendezvous. All right. 1997, the Anaheim Ducks clinched their first ever playoff berth. What is a playoff berth? Playoff berth. Clinched a playoff. What does clinched a playoff berth mean? There are 30 games in the NBA, meaning each team plays 29 teams home and away, so that's 58 games. Now, if there are actually 82 games in the season, where do the other 24 games come from? Oh, wait, hold on a second. Clinching a playoff berth means that a sports team has secured a spot in the playoffs regardless of the outcome of any remaining games in the regular season. In other words, the team has enough wins or points to guarantee a spot in the playoffs. So this is the first time the Ducks ever was guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. So that's pretty cool, despite the Ducks being a team invented by Disney. Anyway, 1999, Jack Ma, we all know that guy, you know, recent, if anybody watches China Uncensored, China in Focus, you know, Chris Chappell, those guys. Jack Ma founded Chinese internet company Alibaba. Alright. And we got 2002, the MPLA government of Angola and UNITA rebels signed a peace treaty ending the Angolan Civil War. Alright. 2008, raid on Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints owned YFC Ranch in Texas. 401 children and 133 women were taken into state custody. Alright, so Mormons. Okay. Well, cults. So, also happened in 2009, France announced its return to full participation of its military forces within NATO. Alright, good. Going to move on up to 2010, a magnitude 7.2 earthquake hit south of the Mexico-USA border, killing 2 and damaging buildings across the 2 countries. Alright. You know, borders are just a human concept, just to keep us divided and conquered. 2010, yeah, we did that one. While that was happening, Africa's tallest monument, the African Renaissance Monument, dedicated outside Dakar in Senegal, designed by Pierre Gaudiebi to commemorate Senegal's 50th anniversary of independence. Let's take a look at this. The African Resistance Monument. Renaissance Monument. Okay. That's pretty cool. That's a cool statue. That is a big statue. Look, the little people down here. That is a big statue. Oh, it says it's Africa's tallest monument, so that's really cool. We also have a 2012 German Nobel laureate Günter Grass published controversial poem that claims Israel is plotting to wipe out Iran, which they are. They absolutely are. They try to wipe out Egypt. You know, Israel is a very aggressive country. They've completely destroyed Palestine. So, anyway, 2013, more than 70 people were killed in a building collapse in Thane, India. 2013, Polish Rajai, a giant tarantula with a 20-centimeter leg span, was discovered in Sri Lanka. So, actually, hold on. Let's just take a look at this. So, for anybody with arachnophobia, that includes me, avert your eyes for the next couple of seconds. We're about to see a spider. That's a big spider. Hold on a second. 20 centimeters. It's almost 9 inches. So, let's see here. 9. Wow. That's a big spider. I'm avoiding that place. I'm never going to Sri Lanka. Gonna move on up to 2014. President of the World Bank, Jim Yong Kim, claimed that climate change will lead to battles over water and food within the next 5 to 10 years. Well, we're approaching year 10, and the only battles I ever saw was battle over toilet paper. So, yeah, your predictions are crap. 2017, Alibaba became the world's largest retailer, according to U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. So that was when did he start it? Alibaba. I put that in here a second ago. Um, Hold on a second. It was just in here. 99. So 99 to what? 2017. Yeah. So it took him 18 years. While that was happening, in 2017, Syria conducted an airstrike on Sheikhoun Khan using chemical weapons, killing 89 civilians. Not good. 2017 as well, Pink Star Diamonds set a world record price of $71 million for a gem at an auction in Hong Kong. Okay. 2019, Belgian Prime Minister Charles Michel apologized for the kidnapping of thousands of mixed-race children during colonial period in Brunei, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Rwanda. Oh, whoopsie, my bad. You kidnapped thousands of children. He should be detained. 2019, the U.S. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, I believe, pledged to roll back anti-LGBT policies, including not baptizing children of gay parents. Yeah, like, I'm not pro-Alphabet Mafia, but that's not cool to do, to refuse baptizing the child because of the parents. That's not good. 2020, China held a national day of mourning for martyrs who died in the fight against the novel coronavirus disease outbreak. Okay, well, more propaganda. 2022, Elon Musk bought 9.2% of Twitter stock, making him the company's largest shareholder. Alright. And then in 2022, Ukrainian government began a war crime investigation after 410 civilians were found killed after the withdrawal of Russian forces from around Kiev. Well, killing civilians wins wars, So that's just how it is. Anyway, before we move on to the person deaths, audience, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Anything you wish we had elaborated more on? Anything you would have liked to say had you been here? Start a dialogue in the comments section. Moving on in the burst, we have Caracalla in 118. Was a Roman emperor from 198 through 217, born in Lugdunum, Gaul. He died in 217. We also have 1492, right? Yep, 1492. Ambrosius Blarer was a German-Swiss theologian and reformer. Ambrosia? Yeah, that's why. Ambrosia. I don't know. 1572, we have William Strachey, English writer, early history of the English colonization of North America. Born in Saffron Walden, Essex, died in 1621. We got Pierre-Paul Prudhon, 1758, French romantic painter and draughtsman, allegorical paintings and portraits, born in Cluny, Saône et Loire, died in 1823. Dorothy Dix, 1802, a U.S. pioneering nurse and social activist who created the first U.S. mental asylums, born in Hampton, Maine. We should bring those back. Definitely need those. Moving on up to, let's see here, 1809, we have Benjamin Pierce, U.S. mathematician and astronomer. Pierce's criterion for outliers, born in Salem, Massachusetts, died in 1880. What is Pierce's criterion for outliers? Let's check that out here real quick. Pierce's criterion method, proposed by Benjamin Pierce in 1852, that allows us to eliminate outliers from data sets. An outlier is a part of the data set that is abnormal and not representative of the general trend. So, just trimming the fat, essentially. What else do we have? 1818, Thomas Mainride, an Irish-U.S. novelist, the Headless Horseman, born in Ballyrony, County Down, Ireland, died in 1883. So the author of the Headless Horseman, Ichabod Crane, and all that stuff. We also have Linus Yale Jr., 1821, a U.S. portrait painter and inventor, Yale cylinder lock, born in Salisbury, New York. So that was 1821. The Yale cylinder lock. Let's take a look at that here. Yale cylinder lock. Oh, okay. So he invented that lock. All right. Well, the more you know. We also have in 1823, Carl Wilhelm Siemens, a German engineer and inventor, laid undersea cables, born in Getteren, Hanover, Germany. All right, so he laid undersea cables. So I guess that's the engineer part. But what did he invent? inventions. Let's see here. Let's see here. Awards, inventions. It says the Siemens cycle, Siemens Miton process, regenerative cooling. I'll just add this Wikipedia here, so if anybody wants to figure it out for themselves, there you go. We're going to move on up into 1826. We have Zenobie Graham, a Belgian electrical engineer, the Graham dynamo, born in Gihey, Burgundy, Belgium. What is the Graham dynamo? Let's take a look at that here real quick. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Oh, the Graham machine. All right. The Graham machine, Graham ring, Graham magneto, or Graham dynamo is an electrical generator that produces direct current, named for its inventor Zenobie Graham, and was built as either a dynamo or a magneto. It was the first generator to produce power on a commercial scale for industry. All right. Well, that's a pretty significant invention right there. So let's add that. Well, let's have in 1826 Zenobie Graham. Already got that. Invented the Graham machine, Graham dynamo. So you can get rid of that here. 1829, Owen Suffolk was an Australian bushwrangler, poet, confidence man, and author. All right, a bushranger. Oh, out in the outback and all that stuff. We got William Henry Jackson in 1843. He was a U.S. painter and photographer. So William Henry Jackson, did he take a picture of Lincoln? So let's see here. William Henry Jackson, photo. So let's see here. Did William Henry Jackson take a photo of Lincoln? Let's see here. After a tour of duty in the Civil War, he headed west and eventually settled in Omaha, Nebraska, where he opened a portrait photography studio. Okay, so he was just a photographer. I'm not seeing any photos of Lincoln. So, oh, but he took that picture. So, all right. He did not take a picture of Lincoln. So, yeah, let's get rid of that. We also have Raoul Pichet. You know what? In 1846, Swiss physicist who invented liquid nitrogen and was a pioneer of cryogenics, born in Geneva, Switzerland. That's important right there. 1853, we got Tad Lincoln, youngest son of U.S. President Abraham Lincoln, born in Springfield, Illinois, and died in 1871. So he was 53 to 71. Hold on a second. Let's do the math. 71 minus 53 equals. He was 18. So that's really young, but you know, one of his Abe Lincoln's children died at what, 3 years old, 3 days old, like really young. So. We also have in 1864, Felipe G. Calderon was a Filipino lawyer and politician, educator, and co-author of Malolos Constitution of the First Philippine Republic, born in Santa Cruz de Malabon, Cavite, Philippines. All right. We also have Mary Coulter in 1869, U.S. architect and designer, Fred Harvey Company, Santa Fe Railroad, born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So Mary Coulter, let's check out her architecture here. Mary Coulter, architecture. Let's see. Oh, okay, so she designed that. She designed that. All right. So naturalist, using a lot of stones and bricks. That's pretty cool. Looks good. What else do we have here? 1880, we have George von Trapp, an Australian World War I submarine commander and inspiration for The Sound of Music character, born in Zara, Kingdom of Dalmatia, Austria-Hungary. All right. Isoroku Yamamoto, 1884, Japanese World War II Marshal, Admiral, and Commander-in-Chief of the Japanese Fleet, who led the attack on Pearl Harbor, born in Nagata, Niigata. Nagaoka. You know what? I'm not gonna try. 1887, William Cumming Rose, U.S. biochemist who discovered theramine, an amino acid, born in Greensville, South Carolina. So 1893, Hans Riegel Sr., German sweet inventor, founder of Haribo, so the gummy bears, born in Bonn, Germany. We got Muddy Waters, 1913, a U.S. blues guitarist, Hoochie Coochie Man, born in Jugg's Corner, Issaquah County, or Rolling Fork, Mississippi. So one of those two. We also have Peter Vaughn, 1923, English actor. Why is he familiar? Peter Vaughn. Vince Vaughn. Why is that name familiar? Peter Vaughn. Let's see here. The Mother, Porridge, Straw Dogs. Alright, well, let's get rid of him. I don't remember him. So, we also have Gene Reynolds, 1923. Is a U.S. actor, director, producer, and screenwriter. Okay, well, I'm no longer going to be... I used to have a way of research writing that has since changed, so pardon the live updates onto the scripts. Get used to that for the next year or so. 1927, we have Bob Stump, was a U.S. politician. Actually, no, we have Gil Hodges, 1924, a U.S. Baseball Hall of Fame first baseman. 8-time MLB All-Star, Brooklyn and LA Dodgers, New York Mets, World Series 1955, 59, 69, Gold Glove Award 1957 through 59, and manager of the Washington Senators and the New York Mets, born in Princeton, Indiana. Alright, now let's get into Bob Stump here. He's a U.S. politician, U.S. House of Representatives from Arizona, born in Phoenix, Arizona. So, I wonder if he stumped the competition. 1928, Maya Angelou, a U.S. author, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, poet and actress Nio Roots, born in St. Louis, Missouri, a memoirist and a poet. Alright. 1928 as well, Estelle Harris, U.S. actress and comedian. She died 1 year and 2 days ago on April 2nd, 2022. And Estelle Harris, her. So she was in several... Toy Story, Home on the Range, Toy Story 2, Seinfeld. So yeah, I often get her confused with Betty White. So we also have in 1932, Clive Davis, a U.S. record producer who founded Arista Records and J Records. 1932 as well. Clive Davis, U.S. Got that. Richard Lugar, U.S. lieutenant and politician who is the 44th mayor of Indianapolis. Lugar, you know, like the gun. We also have Anthony Perkins, 1932, a U.S. actor, psycho, friendly persuasion, Fear Strikes Out, and Pretty Poison, to name a few. And singer, born in New York City, New York. So he's 1932 as well. We also have Robin Phillips, 1933, English multimillionaire manufacturer, hand dryer. So he manufactured the hand dryer. So, you know, that's a stupid thing that doesn't work. So, 1939, Hugh Masekela, South African trumpeter, anti-apartheid activist, I am not afraid, described as the father of South African jazz, flugelhornist, cornetist, composer and singer, born in Witbank, South Africa. What the hell is a flugelhorn? Why does that name sound so familiar? Flugelhornist. Oh, okay, one of those things. All right. And what is a cornetist? Cornetist. Okay, so another brass instrument. All right. Of course, he was a trumpeter. So we also have what are the second and third ones? Yeah, we just went over that. 1944, Craig T. Nelson, a U.S. actor in Poltergeist, Hayden Fox coach, director, producer, and screenwriter, born in Spokane, Washington. Yeah, 1944, Totkemis Etis, Turkish academician, political commentator, columnist, and writer. All right. 1946 as well, Katsuki Sato, Japanese martial artist, founder and director of Sato Juku Karate, born in Sakhalin, Japan. 1953, Simicha Jabakovi, Canadian director, producer, journalist. Okay, I don't care. Because I used to have a way of doing the script at least 3 different things. So, 1960, God Knows Igali, Nigerian diplomat, civil servant, and technocrat. So that's 3. So, you know, you get in on the burst. But, yeah, as I said, the way of doing the show is vastly changing. Hugo Weaving, Nigerian Australian actor and producer. Why does that name sound so familiar? Hugo Weaving. Him. Okay. And producer. Agent Smith from Matrix. Agent Smith from Matrix. Red Skull in MCU. To name, you know, a few of the things. Okay, so that's Hugo Weaving. All right. So happy birthday to that guy. We got A. Michael Baldwin, U.S. actor, producer, and screenwriter. Okay. Robert Downey Jr., U.S. actor, writer, and screenwriter. Charlie Chaplin, Iron Man, Avengers, born in New York City, New York. So let's add that here really quick. Moving on up to 1969, we have Karen Brady, English sporting executive, TV personality, and business executive. Was in The Apprentice, UK. That's right. America's Got Talent, as we know, is from the UK, from Britain's Got Talent. Our version of The Office is from theirs, but in a twist, they copied us, I believe. I think. Yeah, we created The Apprentice, and then they created the UK Apprentice. So, we also have 1969, Karen Brady, English sporting executive, TV personality, and business executive. Yeah, The Apprentice UK, Birmingham City FC. Born in Edmonton, London. 1971, Yannick Perrault, Canadian ice hockey center, considered one of the best face-off men in NHL history. NHL All-Star 2007, LA Kings, Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens. Born in Sherbrooke, Quebec. 1972, Jill Scott, U.S. soul singer and songwriter who is Jill Scott, Words and Sounds, Volume 1. Born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We also have David Blaine, 1973, a U.S. magician and illusionist, born in Brooklyn, New York, musician and producer. So let's add that in here. We also got Heath Ledger, 1979, an Australian U.S. actor, Brokeback Mountain in The Dark Knight, born in Perth, Western Australia. So, and rest in peace, he passed away, unfortunately. Trevor Moore, born on this date, U.S. actor, director, and producer, producer, and screenwriter, Whitest Kids You Know. He unfortunately passed not too long ago as well. We got Ned Vizzini in 1981. U.S. author and screenwriter, Teen Angst. Nah. And I actually, I didn't speak with him, but I sent him, we corresponded via email once when I was back in high school. I wanted him to do a presentation, and he wanted money. The school didn't want to pay him, so. But unfortunately, he did later take his own life in 2013, and he was one of my favorite authors. So that's unfortunate. 1983, we got Eric Andre, a U.S. failure as a comedian, if you even want to call him that. 1981, Jamie Lynn Spears, a U.S. actor and singer, and is she related to Britney? So let's take a look at that. Jamie Lynn Spears. Sibling, yeah, she is related. So sister, singer, sister of Britney Spears. All right, so she is, to answer that question. Delete that, delete that. Moving on up to 2012, we got Grumpy Cat, aka Tartar Sauce. That was his actual name. U.S. cat internet celebrity, born in Morristown, Arizona, and died in 2013. I'm about to see. Pardon me. Once you gotta sneeze, you gotta sneeze. So hold on, another coming up. Oh, sorry about that. Sudden sneeze attack. Anyway, let's move on up into deaths. We're going to start off in 397. We have Saint Ambrose, Roman Archbishop, Saint, and Governor of Liguria and Bishop of Milan from 374 through 97. Died at around the age of 57. We also have 636, Saint Isidore of Seville, Church Father and the proposed patron of the Internet. Birth circa 560. So Saint Isidore of Seville. Apparently he's the patron saint of the Internet? Like, that's weird. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's in a lot of memes. Okay, I see. Alright. We also have 1743, actually 1617, John Napier, Scottish mathematician and inventor of logarithms, died from effects of gout at 67. So that was 1617. Let's add that in real quick. Logarithms. What is a logarithm? Let's check that out here real quick. Oh, okay, I see math. In mathematics, the logarithm is the inverse function to exponentiation. That means the logarithm is of a number x to the base b is the exponent to which b must be raised to produce x. For example, since 1000 equals 10 to the third power, the logarithm base 10 of 1000 is 3, or log 10 to the lower power equals 3. Okay. I'm going to add that wiki in the underbar for anyone who wants to hurt their brain. Moving on up to 1743, we have Danielle Neal, English historian, died at 64. 1773, William Henry Harrison. Oh no, 1841, William Henry Harrison. U.S. state general and politician who was the 9th president of the U.S. For the Whig Party, March 4th through April 4th, 1841. Died of pneumonia. He became the first president to die in office. Alright, let's add that in here real quick. 1844, Charles Bulfinch, first U.S. pro-architect, Massachusetts State House, died at 80. Alright. We also have in 1846, Solomon Sibley, U.S. lawyer and politician who was the first mayor of Detroit. Alright. 1864, Joseph Pitti Kotori, U.S. commander and paleontologist. 1878, Richard M. Buer, a U.S. criminal. What did he do? So, Richard M. Buer, crimes. So, what did he do? Richard M. Dick Buer. Oh, he was a cowboy, so he was an outlaw. So, alright. So, I'm going to add his Wikipedia in the underbar for anyone who wants to figure out what he did and inform me in the underbar, the description below. Do we have a live chat? No, we do not. Alright, so... we also have in 1883, Peter Cooper, U.S. businessman, industrialist, and inventor, steam locomotive, as well as a philanthropist who founded Cooper Union, died at 92. Alright, so thank you for the steam locomotive. 1890, Pierre-Joseph Oliver Chavillot, French-Canadian lawyer and politician who was the first premier of Quebec, died at 69. 1903, Margaret Ann Nevy, British first recorded female supercentenarian who lived in 3 centuries, died at 110 years old. Holy crap. So, wow. She lived through 6 centuries. What is a supercentenarian again? A supercentenarian is a person who has reached the age of 110 years. This age is achieved by about 1 in 1,000 centenarians. Supercentenarians typically live a life free of major age-related diseases until shortly before the maximum human lifespan is reached. Alright. So, it's not a political thing, it's just what you are. Alright, that's interesting, a supercentenarian. I want to be a supercentenarian. Let's move on up here. Who else died on this date? 1912, Charles Brantley Aycock. Aycock! U.S. lawyer and politician who is the 50th governor of North Carolina. Alright. 1912, Isaac K. Funk. He's got the funk. A U.S. minister, lexicographer, and publisher who co-founded Funk and Wagnalls. Alright. Got John Venn in 1923 passed away, English mathematician and philosopher who created the Venn diagram. We all know the Venn diagram. Isn't that the perfect thing? Hold on a second. The Venn diagram? No, it's this. I was thinking about the whatever ratio, the snail shell thing. Okay, so he created this, the circle and circle. All right. What else do we have today? 1929, Carl Benz. German engineer and businessman who founded the Mercedes-Benz, German inventor, engine designer, and automobile manufacturer Mercedes-Benz, died of bronchial inflammation at the age of 84. Alright. Got 1931, Andre Michelin, French businessman who co-founded the Michelin Tire Company. Yeah, French industrialist, the tire manufacturer, Michelin, and publisher of the Michelin Guide, died of respiratory failure at 78. Wow. That sucks. 1933, we got Elizabeth Bacon Custer, U.S. author and educator. Sounds delicious. 1944, Morse H. Whitehouse was a U.S. architect. Yeah, I don't think he designed the White House, though. So let's check out his architecture. Okay, so he just designed buildings. Alright, so he was just a random-ass architect. We also have 1958, Johnny Strampanato, U.S. organized crime figure and abusive partner of actress Lana Turner, stabbed to death by her teenage daughter in self-defense at 32. We spoke about that in the main body of the show. 1963, we have Endizin Barcelli, died 2 days after winning a boxing match at 18. Yikes. That sucks. 1968, Martin Luther King Jr., U.S. minister, activist, and hero of humanity. He is a U.S. clergyman and leader of the Civil Rights Movement, Nobel Prize of 1964. He was assassinated at the Lorient Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 39. Wow, he was young. I thought he was in his 40s. At the age of 39. Man, well, at least he outlived Jesus. 1970, we have Victor Otto Stomps, German writer and publisher, died at 72. You know, he stomped the yard. I don't know. Harry Nyquist, 1976, Swedish U.S. physicist and electronic engineer who contributed to communication theory, Nyquist-Shannon sampling theorem, Nyquist rate, died at the age of 87. So what is this theorem? The Nyquist-Shannon sampling theorem is a theorem in the field of signal processing which serves as a fundamental bridge between continuous time signals and discrete time signals. For further reading on this subject, please refer to the underbar of the description. Link to it will be down there. What is the Nyquist rate? Let's check that out here real quick. This as well has a Wikipedia. In signal processing, the Nyquist rate, named after Harry Nyquist, is a value equal to twice the highest frequency of a given function or signal. When the function is digitized at a higher sample rate, the resulting discrete time sequence is said to be free of the distortion known as aliasing. Okay. One day I'm going to know what the hell that means, but that day is not today. 1984, Oleg Antonov, Russian-Ukrainian engineer and businessman who founded Antonov. We also have 1987, Sashidanda Vatsisiayan, Indian journalist and author. Alright. Got Carl Timberg, died on this date in 1982. He was a U.S. scriptwriter for Ben-Hur. So, anybody who watched Ben-Hur, this guy who contributed to it passed away on this date. 1993, Alfred Mosher Butts. Hopefully he didn't Mosher any butts. U.S. architect and game inventor, Scrabble, died at 1993. So he invented Peggy Hill's favorite game. But let's check out his architecture. I'm a glutton for architecture. It's just showing me Scrabble. So he's an architect, but apparently not of I guess he's the architect of Scrabble. Kind of like how Parks and Recreation, that what's his face is the architect of the cones, or Cones of Sardinia, or whatever it is, the game he made. What else do we have? 1996, Larry Laprise, U.S. songwriter, the Hokey Pokey dance. This is disputed. But you know, you put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. You do a little circle, and you dance all around. That's all. I completely screwed that up. But yeah, he's apparently maybe the creator of that dance. Died at the age of 83. We also have Early Wynn, U.S. baseball player and sportscaster. All right. Bob Clark, I don't care. He's, once again, vestigials from last year. 2011, we have Scott Columbus, U.S. heavy metal drummer, Man of War, 1983 through 91, and 94 through 2008. Took his own life at 54. That is unfortunate. May you rest in peace. Roger Ebert, U.S. journalist, critic, and screenwriter. Ebert and Rober, back in those days. I think this guy is the one who had jaw cancer, so he can't talk anymore. Yeah, it is. I don't want to look at that. It sucks. 2014, yeah. Curtis Bell Pepper, U.S. journalist and author. Curtis Bill Pepper. Wow, I read that wrong. Bill Pepper. All right. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. And we got a lot of links here to add to it, the underbar. Look at all this stuff here. Anyway, for your dose of passive events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 11 Mountain, 12 Central, and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander, and until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in some notable events, weather, and sports, the Omni Coalition News Show is coming up at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, live streaming right here at that point. Anyway, until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look until whenever you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!